A very good morning to all of you. My name is Anthony and welcome to the final day of the web design webinar. Now this has been a really exciting week, one that has been quite interesting. It's one that we have been able to learn a lot from, and I hope that you have learned a lot so far. And so here we are. We have come to the end of this, and we're going to be doing a number of things that are pretty hands-on. Now today is going to be really packed with a lot of things, and I want to just give you guidance on how we are going to go about this so that we are able to gain a lot, be able to cover ground, not use too much time, but at the same time also cover all the questions. This being the final day, I'd like to answer all the questions that may be pending, questions that may not have been answered by things that we did in the past, or things that were not very clear. I would want to answer some of those questions. And so let me just guide you on what we are going to be doing. So today we are going to be covering adding functionality to the site. I'm just giving you a brief overview so that you know what we are covering. So adding functionality to your site, whether that's using live chat, Google Analytics, adding more security, M-Pesa integration, and SEO. And these are really huge topics, so I'm not going to go very deep in depth on all of them. However, we are going to cover them. I don't want to spend too much time on this because I want to answer the questions that you guys have. So I'd want to ask you, even as you start, I'm going to read the first comments of people who have just come in, but I would want you to start posting questions that you would want me to answer. I would want to use half of this webinar to answer questions that may not have been covered in this webinar, so we're able to make it useful for you. Part of the reason why it's live is so that we are able to interact, and I think the best use of the time that we have together will be found in being able to answer questions that you guys have, not me just giving you what I think is important. So I am going to talk about live chat, analytics, security, M-Pesa integration, and SEO. In the meantime, just start posting questions in there. I see BJORNSun.K has come in. I still don't know how to say your name, that's why I'm spelling it out. Good morning, I'm present, looking forward to the last day as we finalize the training. Johnson B. Okay. Okay, sawa, noted. So the B is silent, so it's Johnson. Glad to have joined the training. You are one of the first people to comment. Thank you so much. Karibu sana. Jeremiah, good morning. You're saying that you have been here on the final day, been following secretly, been enjoying the classes, and it's helped you work on your website that has been idle over 6 months. I am really happy, Jeremiah, that this has really helped you. This is something it gives me a lot of fulfillment, and us as Deep Africa, we feel very fulfilled when we hear stories like those. That's part of the reason why I would ask you to go to feedback, deepafrica.com/feedback, and tell us what you think about the training. Give us your feedback on what you think about the training and the training that we've had. Has it worked for you? Is it something that you have found to be useful? Let's hear it. Let's hear what you have to say. So that's deepafrica.com/feedback. And thank you for that feedback. Jeremiah, I really thank you for giving us that feedback. It gives us a lot of satisfaction. So as I've said, we are going to be covering adding functionality to your website, and I'm going to be answering all the questions that you have that you still feel that you're not completely confident about building a website yourself. So I'd like you to just post those questions in there, start posting them right away. I know there are a number of people who are helping me answer the questions, and so thank you so much. Paul, you're saying you really appreciate this. Asante sana. Thank you for sticking around. Paul, you've been around the whole of this season, the whole of this from Monday and up to now, and you've been actively commenting. Asante sana. We really appreciate the fact that you've been here, and I hope that you've learned a lot from the whole entire session. Okay, sawa, karibuni. Now I want to get started right away. with the topic of adding functionality. Now, your website, by this point, you have built your website. It's looking the way you want it to look. It's having the look and feel that you are hoping for, and all the pictures are okay, and you're now ready to take it live. But wait, before you take it live, there are a number of things that you may probably want to do to add functionality to that site. So one of the things that may really be crucial in being able to help you add functionality is live chat. Now, live chat is something that we use ourselves within Deep Africa. Let me show you what we have done. So when you go to deepafrica.com, you will see that we have implemented a live chat feature, and right now we actually have people who are actively manning this to answer any online chats that are there. So if I entered 0712500500 and I typed my request to be a sales one, it will immediately trigger up a request. And you notice that Lucy has come in and is actually answering the live chat. Now, live chat is really useful. It's useful for businesses because it allows you, hi Lucy, testing out the chat. Yes, so we are testing out the live chat, and Lucy is one of our teammates, and she's actually live and answering that on the back end when somebody comes in. So she's part of the team that does this all day, where they have this open, they have the chat window open, and they are able to chat with clients who come into the website. This is a really useful feature because you're able to track and see like what's going on, who are the clients, where have they come from. It provides a lot of analytics. So we're going to start with live chat first on how it works, what the backend looks like. So let me just log in to my backend, my personal backend, the backend to our live chat. Just a moment as I do. So you will notice that live chat provides you with the ability to like see a lot of what's going on. You can see from this, I can see all the clients that are in here, where they've come from, who they are, like which page they are on, and so on, which page referred them here. And so it's a really useful thing. Now you can notice that the chat that I was doing, here's a chat that I was doing, and Lucy is currently answering it, and it's showing the details that I had, where the visitor is right now. So you can see that I am on the home page. You can see this is where I am. I am on the home page, and here it is. It can show like what type of machine I'm using, and things like those. So it's a really useful feature. And so I want to show you how you can be able to create your own live chat. And to do that, how you can be able to implement it on your own website. So first, we need to create the live chat account on our end. So I will go to tawk.to, talk.to. Now there are very many useful chatbots out there, but the reason why we use Talk is, number one, it's free. It has a lot of really great features. It's fast, it does not hang, and it allows you to be able to track what exactly is going on with your website. So it has a very nice dashboard that helps you understand what exactly is going on which platform, and so on. So it's a really useful one. So let's sign up for an account. So just a moment. Just one moment as I change a setting real quick. Okay, so here we go. Here we go. Here we go. So talk.to. Sign up for a free account. So let's get a 10-minute email. I don't advise you to just use a 10-minute email. I'm using this because I'm going to discard this account pretty quick, and that's the reason I'm using that. So sign up for free. Enter your name, Tony. The email is that. Enter a password. I will do, let me just create a quick password. Simple to use. Okay, there we are. We have signed up. So once you sign up like that, it's actually pretty easy. The next is going to be just setting up your languages. So just set up the normal US English, site name, wedding dress, and let me get the exact address. So you can now be able to set up, if you have a team, you can be able to set up like the different people. So that is the admin. I am the admin. I can be able to set up other people who are like agents. And so if you have like staff, you can be able to set up that. Let's now install the widget. Now there are a number of options. You can be able to set up, you can put this code within your website, and that's one of the options that is really good. But since we're using WordPress, we can actually be able to set this up within WordPress. So you're seeing there are different ones that are available here. Right now we're using WordPress, so let's download. Let's click on the download. It's going to take us to the WordPress, WordPress.org website where we can download this, but we don't want to install this through this way. You will see that it's the way this is called is Talk to Live Chat. So we want to copy that name and go to our wedding dress website. Let me just pull it up. It's here, and put the plugins, add new. So we want to paste that exactly as it was, so it's able to give us the right one, and here it is. So install that, talk to live chat, and activate. So now that we have activated the talk interface, we now want to set up the settings. And so it will ask us to enter some details here, and that's what we now want to add. So let's go and get our email. Remember your email, there it is, copy. Let's come to this, paste. Do I remember what password I put? Just a moment. Oh, it actually has a guided tour. This wasn't here the last time I signed up. So anyway, you'll go through the guided tour. It will take you through the different things that you can be able to do within the chat. And there we are. So now that you have this active, I just want to get my username. Edit profile. Let's see whether I can change it here. So current password. I actually forgot what my current password was because I didn't copy it. Let's see whether I can find it again. I should have pasted that somewhere. So don't be like me. You do something different. Okay, I think I'll need to log out and use that again. So 10-minute email. Let's see what the inbox has. Property code. So it's given me the code that I should use to be able to paste that, and that's not the method I'm using. I'm just going to be using the WordPress one. So you're probably not going to be like me, that you forgot your password. Okay, I just need to get that back. So just give me a moment as I find that. I'll need to log out and recover my password. Let me do that as we speak. Copy. There we are. So let's reset this password to something that I will actually remember. I will actually remember to save this time. There we are. Okay, so let's log in again now. Okay, so now that we know what that is, so wedding dress Kenya, let's come back here and use that as a new password, the password that we used. I hope I've not lost you guys. So if you're feeling lost, please let me know. Please let me know. I would want to just make sure that I don't lose any one of you. So you'll choose the property as wedding dress and the widget as default. Use selected and save. Now you'll notice something. You'll notice something interesting, that now when we load wedding dress .co.ke, it will have a chat widget right on the right hand side. Well, that's what we expect anyway. And here it is. You'll see it here. It's there, and you can be able to change its location, and there are a number of tutorials that are out there on how to add that, but that's how you add live chat. And let's try and create a chat. Hello. You're noticing that? I don't know if you can hear that noise. That noise is my talk calling, and you'll see here it is. He is me, and I can be able to join and reply. Hello. And actually shows that right now the only person who is on the website is me, and I am here. Okay, so I think that's covered. I don't want to, I know I have gone really fast, so I want to hear whether there are any questions. Let me see whether there are any that have been posted about that. Okay. So Johnson is asking, now that I read it, it's actually obvious that the B is silent. Johnson is asking which site it was. It's tawk.to. Let me just actually post that on the live chat. It's talk.to, tawk.to. It adds live chat functionality. Okay, I want to proceed on to the next thing that we are going to talk about, and that's Google Analytics. Now, Google Analytics is a really interesting feature. It allows for somebody to be able to see the current traffic that you're having, but not just the current traffic. It also allows you to be able to see past traffic of things that you have, like traffic that you've had in the past, and how it's performing, what numbers of visitors are there. So now, for the sake of just keeping privacy, I just want to make sure that I keep I do not show too much data, because that's, again, it's out there in the internet. Right now, I'm just going to show you this particular dashboard, but once we set it up on that other side, I'm going to show you the dashboard, how it would look, and the different options that are there. So you're able to see the number of users that are there, and you can see the number of users that are on the website right now. I can be able to show you like the trend of how it's been. It can show you, has it been improving or has it been dropping? It can show you where most of the people are coming from. Apparently, we have some visitors from Somalia. It can show you what domains are there, what URLs are being visited, and by how much. And so basically, it gives you a pretty good picture of how your website is performing. It has quite a lot of data. So today we are going to create a new installation of analytics. Now, it's assuming that you're coming here for the first time, and you'll need to create a Google account. You probably already have a Google account. So if you have a Google account, you already can be able to use Google Analytics. You already have analytics available for you if that's something you need to have. Bridge Commercial is asking, can one edit an existing website through this? Are you asking about editing an existing website through the tutorial I'm giving and the tutorials that have been there? If you're using Elementor, if you use the ways that I was talking about, Elementor, and the website is on WordPress, then yes. However, if it's not built on Elementor and the website is not WordPress, you may have a few issues, and so you need to look at it and see what's available for you and what tools you're currently using, because that's what is going to affect whether you're able to edit the website or not. So I don't know whether that answers the question. Bridge Commercial, you can please clarify what you meant by edit the website. Probably tell us what technologies your websites are built on, or your website is built on, and you can be able to advise a bit more appropriately. Okay. So you want to create like right now, once you come into Google Analytics, you'll want to create an account. If you don't have a Google Analytics account before, you need to create an account, then a property, then a view. So let's create an account. The account name is called Webinar Test. Okay, I'm sorry, I think I made an assumption. The way you go to Analytics, you access Google Analytics, is through analytics.google.com. Analytics.google.com, it will prompt you to enter in a password, and it shows you basically what's there, what credentials you use, the credentials that you already have, and you'll get into that. So it will basically request you for things that you already have, and so analytics.google.com. Let me just post that URL in the chat so that you're able to see that as well. Analytics.google.com. So Bridge Commercial, you're saying you think it's WordPress. Okay, you need to be sure whether it's WordPress. The way you can be sure whether it's WordPress is unless a security plugin was added, you can do like your website.com, if it's a .com, /WP. Now this is the main part. Your website.com, you're not going to use the name your website.com. You're going to use like your own website, your own URL, /WP-admin. If it takes you to, I would be surprised if this does that. No, it does not. Okay, but apparently that's a website that does WordPress hosting. Okay, so but you do that /WP-admin, it will take you to a login. If it takes you to a place to log in, then you know that it's WordPress. If you're not sure whether it's WordPress or not, I would advise that you do not even try reworking that website. I would want you to rebuild. This whole webinar is built in such a way that you will be able to rebuild your website. So if that's something you're interested in, then go right ahead, rebuild the website. You can be able to rebuild the website yourself using the webinar that we've had. So there you go. You can try that out. You can try that out for yourself. Okay, I want us to continue Google Analytics. We were creating this webinar test. By the way, keep the questions coming in. I'll try to answer each as they come. So if you have a question, don't hold it out for later. Ask it as we proceed. So webinar test, you want to create, it will ask you whether you want all of the rest of this up. And so I'll say yes. What do you want to do? What do you want to measure? I want to measure my website. I don't have an app, so I just want to measure the website. So next. Then I'll enter my URL, which is my, okay, not my URL, the name of my website, Weddings Kenya. No, not weddings. Wedding Dress Kenya. And then let's get that wedding dress URL, weddingdress.co.ke. HTTPS, make sure you choose it HTTPS. Industry, there's no wedding industry. This isn't very important, but it's good to be able to, it's a good one. Just try and find one that makes it seems closest to you. I think the one that makes most sense to me is shopping, I guess. Time zone, Kenya. Because you want to get the data. Now this is important, the time zone is important because you want to get the time zone, you want to get the data reported in your own time zone. So make sure you get the time zone correct. Then let's create. So it will ask you to answer a number of, like say yes to a number of terms and conditions. You should read those. I have just said okay, I have agreed, and it's now leading me now to create a property. Now, I've created the account, so I now need to create a property. I don't have any properties currently created, and that's where, oh, it actually did create the property in the end. That was unexpected. So so what it's done is that it's created, let me talk about something that in analytics there's an account level, then there's property. So you can have an account. Let's say Deep Africa owns several brands, and we do. Gionta is one of them, Deep Africa is another, and so we would have account as being Deep Africa, but properties as Gionta, and then like all the other accounts. But we already now have this. So once you've created that account so far, you want to add a tracking code. And so the way you come to that is you come to account, then property, you're choosing the property that you want, and you do not come to this side, you come here, tracking code. And so you want to copy that piece of code. That's a code that you want to use on the website. So let's come back to our website, our wedding dress website. Let's just refresh it so to just make sure that everything is the way it should be. Okay, now that that's refreshed, let's come to the dashboard. The assumption is that you've already logged in. Nigel is asking, by the way, Nigel, welcome back. Nice to see you again. You're asking that if I have another website on Google Analytics, can I add another URL to it. Yes, you can add actually very many. I think over 100 different accounts, and the 100 different accounts can have, each account can have like 100 different URLs. So it's really expandable. You can have a lot of URLs, like 100 times 100, that's 10,000 websites. You can have a lot of accounts in there. So yes, don't be afraid of adding another. You won't need to create another analytics account for you to be able to add a new website. You don't need to create a new Google account to add a new website. Okay, so we want to come, okay, now I normally warn against using plugins because plugins, well, I don't like plugins. I think you guys already know. I don't like having very many plugins on my website. However, sometimes it's unavoidable, and like what we're going to be doing right now is unavoidable. Yes, Nigel, it can take about 100 accounts. That's correct. And the 100 accounts can take about 100 properties. So there you go. So I think it's actually 1,000 properties per account. Yeah. So I was talking about plugins. Plugins usually create a lot of issues with a website. If you have a website that has like loads of plugins, it can slow it down. However, sometimes they are a necessary evil that you need to have around you. And so let's add a plugin. And this particular plugin is going to allow us to add the code that I showed you. So plugins, add new. And we want to add header and footer. So we're just going to type header and footer. Now, there are different ways there are different plugins that allow for this, but essentially what we are doing, let me just explain what you're doing. We are adding a header and a footer, not the header and the footer like the way we did for like on, I think it was day 2, where we added the header and the footer that are visible. This is for adding code to the header and footer, adding automatic code to all headers and all footers. Now, there are plugins that allow for this, like Divi naturally allows for this. And so, good. Jeremiah, you've asked a very important question, so I'm going to just note it down. How to add Google location on Google, business location. I'm actually going to cover that because that's an important one. I'd not thought of it. Thank you for asking that question. I'm going to show you how. So, what I was talking about is that it adds, the code that we're going to be adding, it adds a header and a footer code that is unseen. It will not be seen in the front, but it adds functionality in the back. So that's what we want. So it's not insert header and footer. Actually, this is a good one. Insert headers and footers. This plugin allows you to add extra scripts to header and footer for your blog by hooking into WP head and WP footer. Yes, so this is actually what you want. So when selecting a plugin, you want to choose a plugin that is used by a lot of people, and this is one. This is one that has a lot of people who have used it. So let's add that. Activate. Oh, by the way, today I'm wearing a Deep Africa t-shirt. Just thought it's something interesting for you to note. So it's added here. I just want to clear cache. How do you pronounce it? Is it cache or cache? Let me know. What do you guys think? Is it cache or cache? I normally spell it as cache. Okay, that's cleared. No thanks. I just want to make this clean. All right, perfect. So header and footer. The header and footer, where is it? Insert header and footer. You most likely are going to find it either on the settings. Yes, it is on the settings, or the tools. One of the places, it's either would be here or here. So it's here. So insert header and footer. And you'll notice that there is script in header, script in body, script in footer. Now you remember what we were doing in talk. Talk gave us a piece of code. You remember the code that we got? that we could actually have inserted into the footer section of this within this plugin. So there are two ways of being able to add that, and this is the other way. Google Analytics, I wouldn't advise using a plugin to add Google Analytics. I would actually even argue that since we are fulfilling a number of purposes with the header and footer, this header and footer plugin, I would delete the talk plugin that we installed and use this to both load the talk and load Google Analytics. So that's something I would probably recommend, because you want to reduce the number of plugins that you have completely. Edward is saying, send you that t-shirt. Okay, actually, if you are able to follow up with me, Edward, and I think that's the only person I'm going to give away a t-shirt who asked. Oh, actually, Nigel, when are we getting our t-shirts? Now, I think we need to create a criteria for giving away a t-shirt. I'm going to give away a Deep Africa t-shirt. It's not exactly like this one that I'm wearing, but it's something close to this. And so if you're interested in getting a t-shirt, if you guys are interested in getting a t-shirt, I only have about 2 to give away after this whole thing is cleared. Right now I'm at home, the t-shirts are in the office, so I'm not able to get them to you right away. But if you guys can give me a criteria of how we can give away 2 Deep Africa t-shirts, then I will more than gladly give away those 2 t-shirts. So let me know, because I know that the first 2 people, I would actually say, if you guys don't give me another criteria, then Nigel and Edward are the ones who get those t-shirts, because they're the ones who asked. So Nigel asked, when are we getting our t-shirts? And Edward asked, send me that t-shirt, it looks smart on you. Thank you. And so if you guys don't give me another criteria, Nigel and Edward are the ones who are going to get those free t-shirts, because they're the first 2 to ask. Perfect. So let's add the code, the analytics code. Here it is. You copy it as is. So copy that and come, let's see what the instructions are. Global site tag. So you want to add it to the head of the code, everywhere you want your web page to track. So now where is the head? There's script in header, script in body, script in footer. Now you notice that this is the head section. Scripts will be printed on the head section. So you want to add that there. Now different scripts give different instructions. So you can't seem to find, Nigel, have you installed the header plugin? If you can find it, Johnson, Pole, you are number 3 in asking for the t-shirt, so Pole sana. Nigel is asking, you can't find the header plugin from the settings. It's not on the settings. Actually, it is on the settings. Let's just refresh this and find, let me just save this. Did you activate the plugin? Nigel, did you activate the plugin? It's possible that you may not have activated the plugin. If you can't find it on the settings section, it may be that you have not activated the plugin. So just try that and see whether it works. Criteria. Morton is suggesting for the followers who will rebuild or create their website. And Tony Sirengo is saying he wouldn't mind a coffee mug. All existing clients should be given t-shirts. I don't have that many t-shirts, Bridge Commercial. I wish I could, though. Edinburgh is asking, is there a way to customize existing themes of our website? Yes, you can be able to customize an existing site, an existing website. However, it needs to be built on a platform that you're familiar with. Now, WordPress is very wide. There are many different ways that you can be able to like work on WordPress. And so Elementor is one, Divi is another. There's WP Bakery, that is another, which I don't like. I personally don't like WP Bakery. There's Beaver Builder. There's actually building it yourself using PHP. There are very many ways of building a website and building a website that works for you. So yeah, so that I would actually say that it depends. But yes, you can be able to edit an existing website using the methods I've shown you, but only if they have been built using the platforms I've shown you. If they have been built using something else, like let's say if a website is built using Beaver Builder, you may not be able to edit it using using Elementor. You still need to use Beaver Builder. So within that website, the tools that were used to build it are most likely still there, so you can try and get them in there. Okay, so I've added the script of the header and footer. Now let's test. I've added it here and saved. Nigel, are you okay now? Please confirm. Let's test whether this is now there. It's saying that no data received in the last 24 hours. Let's confirm whether everything is okay. So I just want to refresh this website like that, and let's see whether it's going to say that there is somebody in there. This is a website visitor. Okay, now that I've refreshed, you're noticing one user active right now and viewed in real-time reports. So all you need to do is just refresh the page again, and it's going to show like who is there, and you're able to now go back. You can be able to view that, like right now, there's a visitor from Kenya. Ooh, I guess who that is. Guess who that is. I'm trying to be coy there. You're able to see like locations, especially if you have real-time visitors who are on the website. You're able to see live like who is there and where are they from. So these are really useful. Okay, Nigel, I'm happy you're good. You're able to track who exactly is visiting and from where. You're not able to tell exactly who they are because that's a breach of privacy, but at least you're able to get good analytics on where people are. Now, because I want to demonstrate how analytics works, guys, from wherever you are, I have a quick request to make. I'm seeing your questions coming in. I have a quick request to make. I'd like you guys to go to weddingdress.co.ke. Everybody who is watching this, please go to weddingdress.co.ke. And it's going to start popping up. You'll start noticing. I know there's a bit of a lag between the video and you seeing it, so you're going to start seeing, but you're going to start noticing people starting to stream in. So I'll have to wait for this for a bit. So I'll continue for a bit. I think I'll put this on the right hand side here, so that you guys are able to see like what's going on, and I'll continue trying to deliver my speech, the talk from this side. Okay, so Google Analytics is a really useful tool. It's something that helps people track and keep track of what's going on. Part of the things that you can be able to find using Google Analytics, it's actually a very powerful tool. One of the things that I normally use, Nigel, you're saying you're waiting to be the #1 online. Are you sure you're on Wedding Dress Kenya? Because I'm not seeing anyone popping up. I only see one user, unless probably mine is lagging. Let's see. It's actually showing that only one person is there. Unless there's something wrong with the way I've set it up. Weddingdresskenya.co.ke. Are you guys saying this? You guys are saying this website. Let me actually post it. Because there should be a lot more people who are on. But currently it's only, well, unless I'm the one who like got out. Okay, I've posted it, just click on it. Morton, you're saying you're already there. I cannot see you, unless it's something that I've not set up correctly. Let's see. Let's just wait for it and see. You guys are saying that you're there. This is strange. I've actually not experienced this before, because I would usually be able to track like who is there and who is not. Let me refresh and see. Let me try going to a different page, because this is actually really baffling me. It's not something I would have expected. Wedding gowns. Let's see whether it changes. 'Cause Just a moment. This was viewed as a preview. Let me remove that preview. Okay. So apparently, the only person it's seeing is me, because you notice that it's showing wedding gowns as the user who is the only user who is currently there. I'll want to troubleshoot and find out. Oh yes, it's not. Oh yeah, there's no Kenya on the domain. I told you to go to wedding dress. Weddingdress.co.ke. That's what I posted, right? It's wedding dress. I think I gave you the wrong domain. That's the site I am on right now. Weddingdress.co.ke. Probably you can click on that. I think I told you weddingdresskenya.co.ke. I sent you to someone's site. Is that where I sent you? It's probably showing blank. I don't think it loaded anything. Okay, so I've posted it there. Let's see. I'll actually continue checking. This is behaving strangely because it should be showing more people. So I'll want to, oh, there you are, more users. Finally, you guys have started coming in. Okay, so Google Analytics has a lot of really useful features that allow people to be able to like do a lot. You're able to view a lot of different analytics. I now have 4. Yes, I think I'd sent you to the wrong address. I'm sorry, guys. My mistake. My bad. You're able to do a lot of things within it. Oh, so there you are. We have 3 people on wedding gowns. Wedding gowns on the top URL. I am on the / like home, and all of them are being reported to be in Nairobi. Like it's not tracking the exact location, but the beauty of this is you're able to see the general location of where people are. And so perfect. So let me show you something else, something else that you can be able to do within Google Analytics now that you guys have come in today. It may be possible by Bior, you're saying that there may be the reason why that is going. I think that may also be the case. We'll see. But I can now see all of the visitors that are there. So let's see. You can be able to add site content. So you can be able to view all site content. So for instance, you're able to see like the visitors that have been there over time. Now you'll notice that this is showing as 0 because it's taken from the 27th of March to the 2nd of April, which was yesterday. But if we said today, you're able to see like exactly who. It's actually not registered you guys yet. Today being the 3rd of April. It's not registered you guys yet. But you're actually able to see graphs. Let me go to a site that actually we have access to. So let's use, these are blog sites, deepafrica.co.ke, one of our blogs. It doesn't have a lot of traffic in there. And you can be able to tell the traffic. Let's see what's been there. It's actually not been active for a while. Let's see what's there. I'm a bit hesitant in giving you like details, like being able to show that like the analytics details for the website, because that's really private data. You need to keep that to yourself. And so I don't want to reveal that to the rest of the internet. If we were in a group together, I would have showed you like HostPoa and Deep Africa analytics, but I don't want to do that on the open internet. It may not be very safe for us. You're able to view like what are the different pages that have been visited, who has been there, what pages did they go to. You're able to go to like your audience and like be able to figure out like what are their analytics, overview of their demographics. Now this hasn't reached, that doesn't have a very large audience, so I'm not able to see that, but the other sites that we use have that. Actually, let me do something that is probably against my better judgment and show you analytics for my own account, my own accounts that I manage. There's an account that I manage, my own personal account. I have told you before that I run a website called East Africa Travel Tips. This is the analytics for it. It's a blog site, and you're able to see like actual analytics data. So let me go through things like demographics. You're able to see like an overview of who they are, like the overview of age, male and female, like the different age groups who visit my site. Apparently, millennials like my site more than older people. Then you can be able to see like their differences in gender, their location, so like geography, and you can be able to see like the location, and like most of the people who I have are visiting from the US, for instance, a number of them from Kenya, and you can be able to see that data there, and that's from like the previous week, and can be able to like place a limit on like how long it is you want for the last 30 days and apply that, and it's able to show you like who your traffic is and where they're coming from. So yeah, that's that. But then if you guys are interested in talking about having a webinar on how to blog and how to create blogs, I can be able to do that for you guys. So if you guys are interested, you can give it in the feedback form, and also probably you can raise your hand, say it within the give us feedback here if that's something you guys are interested in learning about how to blog, and that may be something you're interested in. Just to tell you where that information is coming from, where this is coming from, it's eastafricatraveltips.com. And yeah, so anyway, that's analytics for you. So the thing about having a website that has good analytics is that you're able to figure out where people are coming from, what they are doing on the website. So here's the website, and so you'll notice like right now if I went to home, it would show there is one visitor that is on there, and there it is. I think there's someone else who is there. I think you guys have gone there as well. Yeah, so that's that. Analytics, we've covered that. Do we have any questions there? Jeremiah is saying that he's interested on how to blog. So, okay, that's one interest. Is there anyone else who is interested on blogging? That's a topic I can talk about. I've been blogging now for the last almost 3 years consistently, and I've learned how to be able to build up traffic, from like 0 to thousands of views. And so that if that's something you're interested in learning about, that's something I can be able to teach. Anyone else interested apart from Jeremiah? Okay, so we've added analytics, we've added security, we've added talk, we've added which is live chat, we've also added analytics. The next thing we want to talk about is security. Now, most of you out there, Morton is saying that he's interested. Tony Sirengo is saying interested in how to implement free SSL on a domain. Sure. If is your domain? Oh yes, Edward, you've mentioned WhatsApp. Actually, that's a quick one I can add for you. So Tony Sirengo is asking how to add a free SSL on a domain. If you are on our hosting platforms, it should install automatically. If you're not on our hosting platforms, you can be you will need to ask your web host to do that for you. And again, why are you on someone else's hosting platform when we are here? You can do it with us. Yeah. So. You can move the domain to us, by the way, and we'll give you free SSL, and we'll implement it for you for free. We'll make sure that it runs for you for free. There are times when your website does not load with SSL, and an SSL has already been, a SSL certificate is already installed. The reason why that happens is because you would sometimes have you may have configured your website not in the very right way. There are many reasons why it could be, and I don't want to like go into all of those details, but there are many reasons why you would have an issue with with SSL not showing, yet an SSL has already been provided. I'm seeing you guys, a lot of people saying that they are interested with blogging. I'm going to set that up for you guys. So I'm going to set up a webinar soon, probably within this this season, within this time when all of us are at home. You can probably do a webinar on blogging, and I'm going to talk about like my journey so far and what we've done and how you can be able to get into it yourself. Okay, so let's tackle WhatsApp really quickly. What I use for WhatsApp is a piece of code called What's Help, and it seems to have changed over time. So let me get that code for you. Let me just pull it up from my own repository. Just a moment as I pull that out. So I want to pull out that piece of code. The thing about that piece of code is the reason why I'm sharing this specifically in this way is of late I've seen that app change. The original code still works, but they have really changed it up that right now you may not be able to get it the same way that I got it before, and that's the reason why I just want to share it with you, share with you what I already have, and it may be useful to you guys. Okay, I seem not to be finding it. Just a moment. So it's a really useful small piece of code that you would add. I want to see whether it's available on any of the sites that I've done in the past. I'll need to pull that from a different from somewhere different. I'll get that for you before we end the webinar. And so the way you would add a piece of code, and when you add that piece of code, you would add it onto the footer. Let's see whether I can find it online, because again, not everybody may be able to find this, to be able to like use the code that I'm going to paste. So you may not be able to see it probably if you're viewing this much later. So what's help? WhatsApp widget. That's what I used to use. Now, What's Help has really changed. What's Help, bot.help. Let's see whether I'm still going to be able to get that piece of code. Yeah, they changed a few things, but this should still work. So it's getbutton.io. They actually changed the name. I'm just posting that there. If you want to embed WhatsApp. So there it is. So you can get your button by like choosing which one do you want. So let's remove the messenger. Let's add WhatsApp. We don't want to have all of this. We don't just have one button. The phone number 0712500500. Add your own in there, and then do you want to add your custom logo? That most likely is going to make it, it's a pro feature. Oh yeah, all of these are pro features. You can add a custom greeting message. Okay, so let's get to the button. So again, I'm going to create a 5-minute, 10-minute email. The reason why I create 10-minute emails is it works. Edward, I'm not sure what you're saying got it to. Are you saying like you have understood what we've said, or there's something that I was supposed to? I'm sorry, I may have forgotten. I really apologize. So I'm adding my email. It will send the button to the email, and there is a code. So you want to add this script in here, copy this, and paste it to your head and footer. So you want to remember, every code gives you an instruction of where you should place it. And the place where you are told to put it is within the body of every page on your website. So this is the script in body, and you want to paste that there. Now, remember, You can actually save this piece of code somewhere. I actually need to save this on my own Google Keep. I usually I like keeping notes, so I'm going to store that on Google Keep. What's up widget. Now, I want to just show you, this may look complex and I don't understand most of what is here. All I know is that it works, just the same way that you probably don't understand how a remote works, like the remote, the technology behind the remote control, but or even the pen, you probably don't understand how ink is able to get from here into there, but you're able to use the pen. In the same way, I don't understand exactly what this JS is doing in the back, but I know that it works. So I just want to highlight, let me just zoom in so you see there's something I want you to see. Now, once you save this button, you'll notice if you probably put your number wrong, you want to change that number within the quote marks here. And that's it. That's the only thing you want to change. Change the phone number there. Now, when you have this code, just as long as you change that phone number, it should work for you. So let's say save. Let's go to Wedding Dress Kenya again. And our code is not showing. And it's most likely it's not showing because, let's first go back here because I want to see where we placed it. Let's place it on the left hand side. Let's put it on the left hand side and see what happens. Okay, let me explain what happened, because I actually know exactly what happened. The reason why it's not showing here is because it's behind our talk widget. You remember the talk widget that we had? I don't like implementing both WhatsApp and talk on the same page. Part of it is because it makes things more complex. You have a lot more in there, a lot more things that are floating. Like even on the phone, there will be a lot going on. So let's go to our talk to and just turn it off. Let's see where you can turn it off. Visibility. So we've turned off visibility on this, and if we come back to Wedding Dress Kenya, okay, the brand I created was Wedding Dress Kenya, and then I chose Wedding Dress .co.ke. I'm sorry I'm confusing you guys, in case you guys are getting confused. You'll notice that this button is here. It was being hidden by the other one. So you notice that if I click on it, it takes me to go to WhatsApp. So if I'm on the phone, it will take me directly to WhatsApp on the phone number I've chosen. Nigel, it was nice having you around. Catch you soon. We should be sending communication. You indicated that you're interested in blogging. We'll send communication on that. Thanks for being around. Bye, Nigel. I don't like having both of them together. If you want to have both together, which is something I personally don't like, I think it's too cluttery, you could set up the talk to be on the left hand side of the screen, and like your what do you call it, your WhatsApp to be on the right hand side, or the other way around. When they are both together, they're going to be overlapping, and that's the reason why that was showing. But right now, this talk should be working. I hope that answers it. Okay, I want to see whether there are questions that were asked so that I don't miss any. Someone asked about Jetpack. Edward, you asked about Jetpack and whether Jetpack is something that you'd advise that we use. No, I don't advise you to use Jetpack. I personally have used it on several of my sites, and it slows our website down significantly. And I don't like how slow websites get. I get concerned when websites start showing, indicating slowness. And so I personally, they say that they help make a website faster, but in my experience, I don't think they do. I don't see that they do. So I don't see the value that Jetpack actually adds. They do have an auto-update feature on them, but WordPress is also updating and going to be adding auto-updating onto WordPress soon. So that's the thing. I'm not sure whether I want to have that have Jetpack on my site. Just reading through the questions. Implementing free SSL. Tony, I told you we can be able to set that up for you. The way that you can be able to make sure that SSL is actually working is by going to the cPanel section, going to the SSL section, and run auto SSL on the cPanel on all of your domain extensions, and that should do it. Edward, you're saying that you've understood how to get the WhatsApp button. Perfect. Are there any more questions? Please ask. I would love to answer as many as possible. And so I don't really mind getting interrupted along the way. Please ask. I will answer them as we go along. Now, I'd like us to discuss security. Now, securing your website is a tricky topic because there are many plugins that exist, and I use some myself. But I would actually say the best security for your website, the best way of being able to secure your website is not using a lot of plugins, and the plugins that you use be from reputable sources. Reputable sources are really an important part of keeping your websites secure, because you can be sure, especially if, like, here's what we do as Deep Africa. We like using paid plugins as much as possible, because with a paid plugin, I have a contractual relationship with the person who sold me this plugin. And so if it has a vulnerability, they have a responsibility to me to fix things. If it was free, there's no liability that those guys can be able to take. And so if their plugin gets hacked or there's a vulnerability, they're not going to work quickly to fix it. And so in terms of security, keep your plugins to the minimum. I think I've talked about that all through this webinar. Number two is that you keep your plugins updated. Try to update to the latest version of WordPress. Like WordPress 5.4 got released recently. I'm holding off on updating it for a few days so that I do not crash my sites in case there are plugins that are not compatible with 5.4. But in about a week's time, I'm going to have updated all of my websites with WordPress 5.4, the WordPress core 5.4. And that's the thing. You want to keep your website very well updated. All of your plugins, all of your themes, all the WordPress core itself, it needs to be updated regularly. The other thing about it is, do not use admin as a username of your WordPress installation. By using admin, admin is one that is used across the board. And so if somebody already has the default, what the password is going to be, then it's going to be very easy for them to be able to find the next thing, which is the password, and they can then try and brute force your password to do a brute force attack on your password through your password. And so I would encourage you to make it difficult for a hacker to get you. You know the way they normally say that if you want to be safe, you shouldn't implement Fort Knox level security. All you need to have is security that is slightly better than what the average person does. So if you are slightly more vigilant than the average person, if you have a slightly more complex security system than the average person, then you're actually going to be more secure. You're going to be more secure than the average person. So my advice to you would be that avoid using free plugins that do not have a lot of users and very good ratings. Keep your plugins updated. Avoid using admin as your password. And probably a final one would be, this is obvious, do not share your passwords of your share them, create a long complex password and do not share it with people. If you're going to share access to your WordPress account, create a user for them and give them limited access. That's going to help in reducing the troubles that you may have. Okay, I think security, that's addressed. There's somebody who has asked, Edward is asking, is a cache plugin necessary? A cache or cache, depending on which school you went to, a cache plugin basically clears, right now I'm using WP Rocket and it has that functionality where I'm able to clear cache. And while it is useful, cache plugins usually are normally for speeding up the site, and I'm going to talk about that today on speeding up websites. So a cache plugin would be useful especially when you're developing. Sometimes you may have done changes and they're not reflecting, and you need to clear cache. That may be useful. So cache plugins, while not necessary, I've found them useful. I use them myself. So but don't just get a cache plugin just being a cache plugin. It needs to be something that that helps, that does more than just caching. So what I would use, like for instance, I normally use auto-optimize. Auto-optimize is a good feature. Now, SEO, big topic. That's the next topic that we are going to be tackling, and thank you, Edward, for mentioning it. Now, SEO is a huge topic, and it's not something that you can be able to do. Actually, we can actually have a whole week webinar on SEO, and quite a long episode on that. So I'm going to give you the introduction of what SEO is and exactly how to get it on your website. So now let me mention something. First is I'm going to say things that are a bit unconventional, and so for that reason, I just want to let you know that I know what I'm talking about because I've done it practically. I've done it practically with my own sites. For instance, if you searched for, the question is drinking water is tap water safe in Kenya. I'm just proving just the point with you. I am on one of the top results here, like a tourist guide for drinking water. This is East Africa travel tips. How can I drive as a foreigner in Kenya? Can I drive as a foreigner in Kenya? I'm number one for that result. So I have, there are a number of results that I have number one for. I'm not saying that to brag, but just to make a point that I have done this practically. I have seen what works and what does not. And SEO, now let me say something about SEO. There's no plugin that is going to fix your SEO for you. WordPress naturally is good for SEO. Is already set up in a way that it will be able to catch it will be able to catch your the articles. Google will be able to find your articles. If they are built on WordPress, Google is going to be able to find your articles and your pages automatically. So SEO plugins, while they are important, they are not necessary. They are not necessary for you to be able to run a website. If you don't have them, it doesn't mean that you have no SEO at all, because Google is able to find your pages easily if you followed a number of things. So the things that you need to be careful about, now Google is moving away from what is called keywords. They are running away from being dependent on keywords to help you find a search phrase and be able to rank you to the top. They are using things that are a bit different, things that it's actually called search intent. They're using search intent to be able to determine whether you should rank for a certain query or not. And with that, it means that you need to have very useful information in there. So the way that I would, when someone is asking about SEO, they probably want to be found quickly. When somebody Googles, let's say wedding dresses in Kenya, they want to be found quickly. Now, we could install the plugin called Yoast, and I'm going to install that here. Let's just add that. Let's add a plugin called Yoast. Yoast SEO. Space. Yoast SEO, and Yoast SEO has 5 million active installs. It's a really good plugin. It helps in making sure that your website is ready. It does internal SEO, especially if you're doing websites. If it's not just a blog, it's important to have Yoast on your site because it helps you to configure a few things and communicate to Google that this is a business, it's located here, here is its logo, here is its tagline, here is the way that the snippets are going to be arranged, and creating automatic snippets. So it's a really good, useful tool, Yoast SEO. Let's refresh and just see whether this worked. So let's activate. So now we've added Yoast, and we need to go through the configuration wizard. So I'll just go through the configuration wizard. Then after that, I'm going to tell you something really, really critical. So let's say this is what you do essentially when you have your business website ready. So the environment, option A. Okay, please tell us whether your website is under construction or ready to go. So it's live and ready to be indexed. Then next is that I am a small offline business, or you choose the one that fits you. So right now, weddingdress.co.uk is a small offline business, and so the name of the organization is Wedding Dress Kenya. And then the logo, you remember the logo that we had created, so we're just going to upload that to just let the we are using that so that it can be used on the website. So if I have like the social media, I would add all of this. If you're lucky enough to have our Wikipedia URL, you add that there, and that will be very useful. If you have a Wikipedia URL about you, definitely use that. It's going to give you a lot of mileage. And we're just going to say yes, that all of them are going to be indexed. I think templates should not be indexed. So remove like templates from there. So you want your posts, your pages, your products to be indexed, and the other one not to be indexed. Then do you have multiple authors? Most likely not if you're just a small business. If you have somebody who is writing for you, you'd probably say yes, but I would normally go with no. So it's just making sure that all the configurations are there. So as it's doing this, let me mention something for you. Now, as I've said, there's no plugin that is going to fix your SEO automatically, that if you use a plugin, it automatically fixes your SEO. The thing that you need to do for you to be able to get problem occurred, not sure what problem occurred. Let's say next. Let's see whether it's going to go. Okay, good. And then Wedding Dress Kenya, separator. So it's going to be like separated by like the articles are going to be separated. The name of the website and the name of the articles are going to be separated by that, by a dash. I usually will leave the normal dash, and that's it. So it's already set up. Now I can unless you want emails, you can sign up or not. And we close that. Does it mean that right now that we have done that our website is now SEO friendly? No, it does not. What we've done is that we've made it easy for Google to be able to index this website, to be able to find this website and give it information that is human readable. The next thing we need to do, which is less, because we've not finished the full process here, we need to get into the website and do things called change the alt text for the website. And again, all what you're doing is like 20% of the work. Everything we are going to be doing here is 20%. Let me give you what the 80% is as it loads here. The 80% is that you need to write content. You need to write a lot of content and a lot of very useful content. For you to be able to rank in any way, you will need to be able to have very super highly useful content available to the general public that they're going to be asking. So for instance, for this wedding dress website, what kind of content would I create? I would create what is called a hit list of articles. And the hit list would be like, I would go to docs.google.com and I would think about each and everything that a person would think of when trying to create, when looking for wedding dresses. What questions are they looking for? Especially because I know these people are in Kenya. So if I just ask, like, what kind of wedding dress should I wear? That's a question that is asked by everybody out there in the internet, and they are all over the world. So they may not really make sense to write that kind of article. Plus, it's a very difficult article to rank for. It's going to be very difficult for you to rank at the very top on SEO. But if you ask a question like, let's say, so we have this open, so we are calling it the hit list. The hit list is a list of articles that we are going to write. So let's build this hit list real quick. I'll show you how to build a hit list. This is the reason why I'm taking you through this is the one surefire way that I have used to rank. I go look for articles that people are interested in reading about, and I write very in-depth. Go to eastafricatraveltips.com. You'll find a lot of really useful articles in there that go really in-depth. My target is tourists coming from other countries coming to Kenya, and so I've tried to give them very useful information, detailed, with a lot of juicy meat in there that is going to make them stay, and that indicates to Google this website is a good one. We put it at the top of the articles, they went and never came back. That means that they found the information that they were looking for. However, on the other side, if a person is just coming in and bouncing, and you'll notice that whatever we've set up so far doesn't help with that. If they're coming in and bouncing out, if you do not have what the person is looking for, and if you're not satisfying their needs, they're not actually going to be able to, they're not going to stick around, and it's going to be an indication to Google, this website is not that friendly. It's not something that we want to give to users. So, now we've opened the hit list. Let's create 5 articles, for example, for this wedding website that I would create. And the articles that I would create would be, like, I would go to Google. I'll go to google.com, and because I'm thinking about the person who is looking for this is looking for weddings, so wedding dresses in Kenya. Let's first start with that and see what our competition is. So most of the people that are here are showing this. We are competing with people like Ellen Bridal. You see Ellen Bridal, which is basically a bridal shop, is not even at the top of this. The top one is Happy Wish. So it means that this is a competitive keyword. So we would come and, like, how much does a wedding gown cost in Kenya? This is a perfect question to ask. So that's the first one that I would ask. If you guys have a wedding website, then you're lucky. If you're watching this and you have a wedding website, there are keywords that are here. So I would research on how much does a wedding dress cost in Kenya. Now I'm putting it here, not because I'm going to write it. Yes, I may write it, but I'll need to see how competitive it is. Can I be able to rank for this particular article? How much is a wedding gown? It's not saying in Kenya, so no, I'm going to keep off that. Then I'll click on this. How much does a wedding cost in Kenya? So even if it's not talking about wedding gowns, it's talking about weddings, and this person may be interested in weddings. So I would choose, like, how much does a wedding cost in Kenya? That's something that people are interested in hearing. So how much can a simple wedding cost? So let's add that as another different article. How much does simple wedding cost? How much does it cost for a cheap wedding? Somebody's looking for a cheap wedding, and you want to give them information on ideas on cheap weddings. So those are 5 articles. I would then go and open Google here again. Now I would go through each of these articles and ask myself, like that, and post in there, how much does a wedding gown cost? Now you see that articles that I'm fighting with here are they are not actually answering that question directly. You see, the only one that has answered this is Tuko. Tuko is, and Tuko being a news site that has a lot of other different articles, and most likely the article here is not very in-depth. It probably would not be how in-depth. If you are an expert in this topic, you'd most likely answer it in a much deeper way and much bigger way. But this is competition, so you're noticing this is competition right here. Interesting photo. And so you would look through what your competition has done, and you would basically write better and write more. So you'd want to write a much more in-depth article. This looks like it's about 1,000 words. So look to write about 2,000 words, and not just fluffy, but really, like, write very, very, very good, like a very, very good article. So this, it may be a good article to write, so I'll write 3,500, like 2,000 words. I'm just giving myself instructions for the future. So how should I dress for a wedding? Now again, what we're looking for is we want to find out, is this very technical? Is it a very difficult question to answer? Not really difficult. Is it very competitive? Does it have a lot of people competing with me? And so now you notice what to wear to a wedding. So you have, these are actually, if I had a wedding website, I would write this article because I know this would rank. This would rank #1. And it most likely has a lot of people asking this question, because generally, think about it. People would, especially somebody who has probably is coming to Kenya for the first time, or is trying to think about like how weddings should, it's a good article to write. It would generally have people asking this kind of question, and there are no people asking this question properly. The only one that is actually answering this is Happy Wish. And I'd watch out for Happy Wish, because Happy Wish is coming up in a number of these articles. And so you need to be careful about these guys. These guys seem that they have written a lot of articles around weddings, and Google is trusting them because they're pulling up a lot of their articles up this way. And again, that's the same thing I was talking about, that if you're able to pull out a lot, you're able to be seen a lot, you're able to like write a lot of content, when Google trusts you, it's going to be giving you, it's going to give results even for things that you don't really rank for, even for things that you don't necessarily, even if it's not a keyword, even if it's a keyword you hadn't thought of, but you've written around that topic, Google is going to find your article. Like for instance, this is 9 manners to maintain as a Kenyan guest, a guest at a Kenyan wedding. That's not the question I asked. The question I asked is, how should I dress for a Kenyan wedding? And this is the answer that it gave me. So meaning that, like, happywish.co.ke, you guys, if you're watching this, you're doing a good job, because it means that you've written content that is being able to be found on other places. But the thing about it, if you wanted to attack Happy Wish's article, not really attack it by bringing it down, but outrank him, is that you'd actually answer this particular question: how should I dress for a Kenyan wedding? And you should answer that question quite in depth. I think it makes sense. So this, I can be able to actually probably outrank them. If I wrote an article that is about 1,300 words, that is well explained, I would be able to rank above them. So I'll do that for all of those articles. Then I would write these. Then after that, after writing those 5, I would go back and write, look for more and write more. But make sure you do your competition analysis. Now, when I'm talking about writing, I would actually write it on a Google Doc like this. I would create a new file, a new document, and write out, like copy this out. Paste, yeah. And so I'd have that as my title. And once I have this ready, I would then post it on my posts. Now you remember a place that we had talked about on, I think, day 2, on posts, the difference between pages and posts. So on posts, you'd come and add a new post. Let's say you've created a new website. Let me just get some dummy text. I get my dummy text. Let me just show you how I do that. Vipsum.com. I want to generate, let's make it 20 paragraphs of text. So we are copying this. Copy that. So what I'm talking about is the 80% that is going to give you results. And this is something that I have personally used, something that I could vouch for. And so that's the reason I'm spending more time here when I'm talking about SEO. Because the rest of the things are useful, but they're not as useful. So you'd come and post your article, paste it like the way I've added there. So essentially, and then add the title as what we had added. How much does a wedding gown cost in Kenya? And probably you want to make this about a bit different, but you can say, so you want to make your headline a bit more attractive. The reason why this is important is because when you make your headline attractive, it's going to make it easier for somebody to click it when they see it. So top let's say 50 most popular wedding gowns and their prices. 50 most popular wedding gowns and their prices. That's the my headline, and then I'd look for a photo around it. Add photo, add featured image there. Let's add a featured image. Let's add that as a featured image. You also want to add photos in between in here, because it's good to have photos within your posts, both for SEO and even for people who are viewing it. So let's add that in there. Okay. Let's make it align left so that it goes on with the text. Let's add one final photo, image, media library. Let's choose that and choose it to be wide. Publish. No, actually before you click on publish, there's something you need to add. Remember, okay, something I was not adding, which is really important, and let me mention it here. It's one of the things that I was going to mention when we are getting in here. It's called adding alt text. Alt text is called alternative text. Alternative text is the text that is what the machine is not, well, they can these days, but machines are not able to read and see what an image is. So you need to be able to tell the machine what this image is. So you'd go to your library and you want to add those alt text. So this is, for instance, African, let's even say Kenyan lady, Kenyan bride posing for Kenyan bride. You want to describe the photo itself in a white dress posing for posing for a photo. Insert image. So we've actually called, we've given this image an alt text. So you can go through your media library and update all the alt text describing what those images are, and making, like, if you're targeting a Kenyan audience, then say like Kenyan couple like at the beach, because you want to tell Google that these photos are photos of Kenyans and within Kenya. Again, what I'm talking about is a 20%. So even here, when I'm adding this post, the post that we are adding, when I'm adding the alt text is Kenyan bride with white dress, white wedding gown, and white veil. Okay, so I've clicked on publish. Now that's the thing about it. I've clicked on publish. It's going to be available online, and we're going to see that there. Something else we want to do is just make sure that it's visible, it's properly visible on Google. Now the Yoast plugin we added, this is where it becomes useful, because you're able to see like how it's going to appear on mobile, how it's going to appear on desktop. So you see 50 most popular wedding gowns and their prices, and this is cutting off a bit. So we probably want to edit that snippet. And so you're probably going to call this, give it the same headline, just the headline itself. So you want to separate the title, just have that, so it does not snip off. So most popular wedding gowns and their prices. You want to make sure it does not snip off, because it's not going to be very visible. There's some text that is going to drop off. You probably also want to give a different description, especially now. This is useful. Well, it's good when you do this for posts, but usually it will just grab this first line here. You'll just grab this first line. But for pages, the first line may not be the most important thing. There may be other information that you want to convey. So for all of your pages, something else, this is part of the 20%, but very, very important as well. This is something you absolutely have to do, is go to the meta tag and give a description of every one of the pages. Not just, it's a description as if it was an article. Write out what you want people to view when they are seeing the search results, because that's the way it's going to be provided. So let's say this is the way the search engine will view the article. This is how the search engines will view the article. Yeah, so you see, this is the way that the search engines are going to see this particular article. And so you want to make sure that whatever is here is something that is properly seen. Again, this slug is long, so actually something we forgot to add is 50 most popular wedding gowns in Kenya, because you want to make sure that it's targeting your audience properly in Kenya and their prices. So gowns in Kenya. So you see that the snippet is now also shown. It's also showing and not snipping off popular wedding gowns in Kenya. So you can edit that slug. So that's the reason why, like, this is really useful. So for your pages, you really need to have this, because for posts it will automatically do this, but for pages it may not do that as automatically. So you need to be more careful about that. I've taken a lot of time talking about SEO. I don't know. Okay, so I want to answer questions, because as I've said, SEO is a topic that can take a long time to discuss, so I don't want to get too deep into it. We may probably set up a webinar around that. Actually, the blogging webinar is an SEO webinar. The blogging webinar we're going to be doing is an SEO webinar, because basically I'm going to be talking about, like, what I've shown you, how to create hit lists like this, and so on. So let me just answer the few questions that are here. Now I'll move away from this, from SEO, and move on. But before I do, please post your questions, because I know it's a topic that people normally have a lot of questions about. So ask your questions, and I'm going to try and answer as many as I can. And I already have a few that are here, and I'll be talking on those as you ask questions. Specifically, right now, ask questions about SEO. The next thing I'm going to be moving to is going to be how to add a business location for your business. So I'm going to do that just now, after we discuss SEO. So let me answer a few of the questions that are here. So Captain Cargo, welcome Captain, is asking, what exactly counts in SEO? The size of the article, you mentioned 1300 words, the number of the articles, and what else counts significantly in boosting your Google rankings other than the articles? Now, as I've said, the first thing you need to do is a pass-fail kind of filter. The pass-fail filter would be, is your website being seen on Google? Can it be seen on Google? And the way that you find out whether it's actually being seen, because again, you can't rank if you're not being seen. And if you're not being seen, you have a significant problem. If you set up the website, if you set up your website the way I showed you, without doing anything else, it should be automatically be found, unless you've done something to prevent it from being found. And you see that the tutorial we went through, the wizard, the Yoast wizard, and the first thing it asked, is your website ready to be indexed? And it changed something called the robot.txt, and it changed it to say that this website can be indexed on Google. There's something within WordPress that allows for that, but by default, it's turned that it can be indexed unless you turn it off. So, so that's the first thing, pass or fail. And so how can you be able to check whether your website is being seen? You just do SITE, site, then colon, then your website. So like, let's say site colon deepafrica.com. and you can see that it gives each and every one of the websites that are on Deep Africa. They are all listed here, all of them. Let's try something else. Site colon East africatraveltips.com, and you can see it's indexed, and you can see that there is you can see the index, like the different, and you can see it goes all the way. Now, if you're not seeing this, on your site, if you're not seeing like if you do site colon your website your URL, if that's not being seen, then it means that there's something wrong. Your site is not being indexed. Now, indexing does not happen immediately. So like right now, I don't think Wedding Dress Kenya would be indexed. I would be surprised if it is, because it's a pretty new domain. .co.ke. And it's actually not. The thing is, indexing takes a while. Before Google indexes your site, you do not index it right now and it gets there immediately. It takes a while to get indexed. And the thing about it is that you need to give it a bit of time. A couple of weeks after the domain is registered, then it can get indexed. You can manually index it, but it's not something I would really advise for, because Google, if you have to submit your index manually to Google, then it means there's something wrong. Because you see, if you've set up analytics, Google knows your site exists. If you have like posted your link anywhere online, Google knows that your site exists. So the question would be, why hasn't it been indexed? So I would say do not try to index it manually. And there's a way, there are tutorials that will show you how to index that manually. I could show you how to do it, but I would say let Google find it. It's the best way for ensuring long-term success. Because if you index it now, it means you'll have to index it forever. Not just today, but for the rest of time, that you have to keep on indexing it, and that's not something you probably want to do. And so, if you are not seeing your site available and it's been around for more than just like a few weeks, because we registered weddingdress.co.ke like I think on Sunday, so it may not be indexed yet. But if the month of April ends before it's indexed, then we have a problem, and I'll need to figure out exactly what is preventing Google from being able to see. Being able to see my website. Most websites should be already be indexed. Now, once it's indexed, does it mean that it's going to be at the top of Google immediately? No, it's actually going to take time before it comes to the top of Google, and that's a whole other discussion. And again, I'll say this can become a whole webinar on its own. So I do not want to make you assume that you can be able to that there is an easy way out to ranking on Google. But I've talked about the first being the pass or fail. Is your website being seen by Google? If it's on WordPress, most of the passes are already there. Does it have an SSL? That's another pass or fail measure. Now, once you've gone through the pass or fail, you have met the minimum criteria for you to be found. The next step is having content, having useful content. Now, before you get to useful content, your website needs to be user-friendly, and that's the reason you are here, building a website, so it's going to be user-friendly. Can it be accessible on mobile? Can you be able to find your website on mobile? If the answer is yes, is it well visible? Is your website like mobile optimized? Is it easy to read that website on mobile? Those things matter a lot. Google these days is just doing like mobile indexing, that it relies on mobile indexing. If you're not indexed on the mobile, it's mobile fast indexing. So meaning that they are first going to check on your mobile site before they check on your on the other site that you have, on the desktop site. So that's the other thing. So is your site user friendly? Then the next step is then when you go for content. Now the content is what I'm calling the 80%. It's the 80% is the one that is going to give you the biggest results. These other things will just make your site visible, just like the other millions of websites that are there outside on the internet. But the thing that is going to make you rank to the top is the quality of content that you're having. If you have a very well written article. Now, you've asked about, still answering the first question. It was asked, I believe, by Captain Cargo. he asked that do you, I mentioned 1300 words, with the number of articles matter. Now, there are a number of things that matter there. First is the number of articles that you have. Yes, articles, the number of articles that you have are a critical part of it. You do not want to just have one article. For instance, right now, even with the corona crisis, I'm having about roughly almost 1,000 visitors a month. And those 1,000 visitors a month are from about 90 articles that I've written. Not all of them have yet ranked to the top. And so the more articles you have, the more hooks you have to be able to grab clients, and more opportunities for you to grab clients and bring them in. But that's only one piece. So does that mean that you write 300 like 50-word articles? No. All of those articles need to be well written. And how long they are and how in-depth they are is going to be dependent on how competitive the search intent phrase that you are targeting. So for instance, like what we had tried to do here, we had talked about, let's say, we said that how much does a wedding gown cost in Kenya? The reason why we chose 2,000 words is because Tuko has already written an article that has discussed the kinds of wedding gowns that are available in Kenya. And so you want to give more information and more useful information and deeper information than what has been written. So you can write more, because writing more generally would mean that you've gone in depth, but you may also write more and it not be useful, because you're probably writing fluff and repeating yourself, and it may not be that useful. So if you're going to write more, let it be still within the topic that you're in, and it be very in depth. You probably want to add like examples of dresses, examples of like the cost, how much each costs, having tables, things like that, making the information. Now think about the last website you went to when you're looking for something important. Let's say you're looking for a phone, and somebody was reviewing it. So let's say if you're trying to compete like with that Tuko article and you want to come to the very top, what I would have is, for instance, for that particular one, how much does a wedding gown cost in Kenya? I would give like number one, a really interesting title. So like wedding gown cost in Kenya with 15 examples. Something like that. It doesn't have to be like smart and funny, but it needs to be like something that grabs someone's eyes. Yeah, so something like that. I'm just thinking at the top of my head. Wedding gown costs. How much a wedding gown costs in Kenya with 20 examples and pictures, for instance. And that, therefore, you see, when somebody sees that, they're going to want to click on it. Now, when they click on it, they need to be able to find that useful information in there. How much does a wedding gown cost? Here's this one costs this much. Here's a table. Here are sellers and here are the contacts to these sellers that you can be able to buy them from. And by the way, so we have this in stock. Here are pictures of different brides using this particular gown, and so something like that. You want to make it very meaty. And for sure, if you do that kind of thing, and then you write like 100 of that kind of article that is that in depth, you are going to rank. You're going to go to the very top, because good content rises to the top. Google is able to find good content and take it to the very top. Morton asked, Google is moving away from keywords. Briefly, how search intent works. So search intent is instead of answering like just basically that the only thing I can rank for would be these words exactly as they are, it's going to think about what is this person looking for. So basically, in asking how much do wedding gowns cost in Kenya, I'm actually asking about, I'm generally interested in a wedding gown, number one, and I'm interested in the cost. And so even if I have not phrased my headline exactly like that, like how much wedding gowns cost in Kenya, and like if I said wedding dress, it knows that I'm talking about a wedding gown. So if I personally called my my gowns, and somebody else is searching for wedding dresses, they would be shown my article, because Google knows this is the same thing. If I was like, what else can it be? Like yeah, so basically search intent is like that. That is able to figure out synonyms of words and be able to say that this is the same thing that this person is asking for. And so I should not write an article on how much wedding gowns cost, then go out and write another article exactly like it, but now stop calling them gowns and call them dresses. And it would basically be the same articles that I have written. Google will view those two as the same article. So that's basically how search intent works. Now think about it in all other areas. There are so many places where you say one thing one way. So for instance, let me give you an example of search intent. There's a type of fish called marlin. And then there's Merlin the wizard. So how much do Merlin? Let's go to Google. So a marlin is a type of fish. So let's just, for the sake of explanation, marlin. So marlin is a type of fish. It's also a season. Now it's a TV show. It's also a wizard in mythical times. So so when I start typing like do Merlin, do Marlins, you see it's now starting to see. I'm not asking, because if I say does Marlin, it knows that I'm asking about a person. But when I say do Marlin, then it's going to see, okay, like this, do Marlin and Arthur kiss? That's one option. Then do Marlins hover? So if I say do Marlins, if I say Marlins, then it'll now actually realize that I'm asking about Marlin the fish. And it's going to give me even suggestions about, do Marlins hover? Do Marlins migrate? Do Marlins eat pigeons? Do Marlins eat squirrels? Do Marlins eat robins? And this, actually there's a kind of bird called marlin as well. So again, it's able to disambiguate and figure out what it is I'm asking based on the way that I have asked that question. So like for instance, do marlins like even if I hunt, even when I misspell this, it's actually able to know that this is the name of a person, this is the name of a season, but it's not even given me the results of a season. It's given me like Marlin the bird. And so that's the thing about it. Search intent means that you'll be contending differently. You need to write content not just that is trying to trick Google. This is a good article. It needs to actually be a good article. But the beautiful thing is, if you write a really good article, it will be found on Google easily because you've done a good job writing it. Edward is asking which is the best tool for getting the keywords for our website. There are a lot of keyword tools out there, and I'll not mention them because you'll assume that I'm endorsing them. I do not use any one of those keyword tools. The keyword tool that I use is Google. And the way I just go to google.com. Let me show you how I do it. It's actually pretty brilliant. I hope they don't take this away because it's pretty brilliant. So let's think about the wedding dresses. Wedding dresses in Kenya, and their prices. So if that's a keyword people are looking for, so B. No, when it shows this, when it's not showing a full word, then it most likely people are not searching for that. So C, D, E, F. Wedding dresses in Kenya for maids, for hire, for matrons, for sale, that's that. E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. Now you're noticing most of these keywords, when it starts showing this, it means people are not actually looking for this. People are not looking for it. But when you see, like when you see the full keyword out there, it means people are actually looking for things, for that kind of thing. So after that, how to dash wedding in Kenya. So you see, let me fix this spelling. So that asterisk is saying that fill in with any other thing in there. So how to plan a civil wedding in Kenya, how to dress for a wedding in Kenya, how to do a civil wedding, how to have a cheap wedding, how to do a cheap wedding. And once I find out those, and like how to A, how to B, how to C, how to D, how to E. And you see it's giving you keywords. And the thing about this is more useful than any other keyword tool. The reason why I don't use other keyword tools is not because I don't want to pay for them, but because they do not work. They are not accurate. I have articles that on keyword tools would say that this article does not have any people looking for it. There's nobody who is searching for that kind of keyword, but it actually is working, and I'm getting traffic. It would predict that there is zero people looking for that keyword, but I wrote it, I used this method, and it's actually giving me a lot of traffic, that particular keyword. And again, I want to get away from keyword, because keywords it's not actually keywords, it's phrases and search phrases. So that search phrase that I chose, that topic that I chose, it actually has a lot of people looking for it and asking about it, but the keyword tools say that you can't be able to find. So that's the best keyword tool that I have found out there. Kevin Garama is asking, how do you put ads of other businesses on your website? Now that's called Google AdSense. And not just Google AdSense, you can add ads to your website using a number of methods. I personally use Ezoic. Ezoic.com. Now this is on a more personal level. Ezoic. I have Ezoic on East Africa Travel Tips. And Ezoic is a platform that allows you to put in ads. However, if you're using Ezoic, you'll need to have a certain level of audience, people already coming in. I think it's about 3,000 visitors a month for you to be able to qualify. And even if you have 3,000, you most likely will need to have a referral, someone to refer you. If you have under 10,000 visitors a month, you need somebody to refer you. And so if you're interested, just look for me. I can be able to refer you in. But basically, that's the easiest way. Google AdSense is a bit more difficult to get into. I have tried to get into Google AdSense and not succeeded, but Ezoic is easier, and so I was able to get assigned into Ezoic, and so that's something for you. If you don't have a lot of traffic, the most important thing you need to have is a lot of visitors coming to your site. If you're having less than 3,000, actually, I would even say 3,000 doesn't give you a lot, because at most, like for instance, you probably will get roughly around 1 shilling per person who comes in. So 3,000 people gives you about 3,000 shillings at the end of the month. Not a lot of money, really. And those 3,000, well, it's not a lot of money. And so I would say, like, look for traffic, get a lot of traffic. Then after that, then try ads. Ezoic is a good source. After you grow up from Ezoic and start having more than like 30,000 website visitors, then you can move to something called Mediavine. Mediavine is a really good tool, but it only accepts up to from 30,000 website visitors and above. What exactly counts? So Captain Cow, I think I've answered your question. Jeremiah, in case I have been mentioned in a news article. Now, perfect. Let me say this. This is really useful. Jeremiah is asking this. In case I have been mentioned in a news article before that is highly ranked, can I link it to the article on my website? Yes. Anywhere you've been mentioned anywhere, you need to put it on your site. You need to add yourself there. Now, let me mention something. You want to get people talking about you. And so if somebody, like a big newspaper has quoted you somewhere, you want to add that, to like mention that as seen on, because it will create more trust. Let's say you are seen on Nation TV. You want to add that logo there as seen on this article and link to it. And then you also want to, well, also known as, within your own website, you want to be able to add a tag. It would be called as AKA, also known as, or also like same as. I need to find out what that tag is, but you need to add that to your site. So you're able to say that this person here, it's referring to me. And that's that. There's something that Google really cares about a lot, especially if you're in the finance space. And that is, it's called EAT. EAT. Expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness in SEO. In SEO. It's experience, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. Now, this is really important. It's only experience, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. How Google finds this out is if you're being mentioned and if you're being referred to, even if you're not being mentioned and being linked to, but if you're being mentioned in big by people who are trustworthy and authoritative. Also showing that you are an expert in your industry also helps a lot with that, in increasing the level of it on your website. So if you've been mentioned by a newspaper, definitely put that in there. It's going to help you a lot. Okay, I think we have now entered the second hour. The third hour, we've just passed the second hour mark. And I'd want to end this soon, but because this is the final day, I don't want to end it quickly. Somebody complained yesterday that I finished too quickly, and so I don't want to do that today because this is the final webinar. I want to answer all the questions that you guys have. So ask away, and as you do so, because I'm sensing that we are coming close to the end, I'd really request you, please, if you have not done so already, go to deepafrica.com/feedback and tell us what you think about whatever we've been doing. This is something that we were really excited to do, and we hope that it's been of value. And because we want to improve in the future for you and give you better content, we want to understand how what kind of feedback you got, and we'd really appreciate any criticism, because that's the way we can grow. We cannot grow unless you tell us that you guys made a mistake here, please improve here next time. And so please let us know if you have any one of those questions in there. So please ask more questions. If you have any more questions, I'm going to gladly answer them. If there are none, I just want to say thank you. So I'm just going to wait a few more minutes. If you're not going to find any more questions, we're going to close this up. And so I'll start giving my final remarks. And after that, if you will not have any questions that will have come in, I will close. I want first of all say, Molton Saulo, you're saying that that's an excellent strategy for keywords. Yes, it's worked very well for me. It's an open secret out there. It's something that is available for free. People don't know how to use it, and so people are gaining by gaining viewers in there. So I want to thank all of you for coming in. Specifically, there are people who I want to mention, and I am so sorry if I do not mention your name in this final remarks. I want to mention Captain Cargo. Captain Cargo, you've really participated in the whole of this. I'm really happy that you are here. Thank you, Captain Cargo. Thank you, Edward Njoroge. You have asked a lot of questions and made us engaged. Thank you so much for being here. I want to mention Nigel. Nigel, in his absentia, he's left. He left for a meeting, but thank you. Nigel is not part of our staff. He's actually one of just like you, but he really participated within here. Paul, you are wonderful. You've done a great job in asking questions, and you're asking about an internship in Deep Africa. We'd love to explore that opportunity. So just write an email to hr@deepafrica.com. Just indicate that you came from the webinar, and we'll see what we can do. I also want to mention Amos, Edward Mboro, Johnson, let me actually mention Johnson. I've been saying your name wrong throughout the whole time. Johnson, you've been around quite from day one, and you are one of the first people to comment every time. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the fact that you are here and that you are part of this. I want to mention Misati Realtors. You're also very active in chat. Asante sana. You are really quite active, and thank you for being here. Oh yeah, Johnson is asking, can we handle M-Pesa integration? I actually forgot about that. I'll mention something about that. There was a question about maps. Thank you for reminding me that. I almost forgot, Jeremiah. Thank you. Morton Saulo is asking for slow learners, can you upload? All of the lessons are available on our YouTube channel, deepafrica.com. If you're not already subscribed to deepafrica.com, please, I request you to get subscribed right now. Actually, I'm going to pause for a minute for you to subscribe. Have you done it? Okay, there's something else I'd like you to do. There's a bell icon on the right-hand side. Please click on that so that you get notified every time we go live and every time you're going to be doing a future webinar. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to cover a number of things that have already been there. So I've finished giving my thanks to the people who are in there, who have been consistently coming. I really appreciate you guys. This thing would not have been the success it has if it was not for you guys there. So let me mention M-Pesa integration. There are a number of ways that you can integrate your website with M-Pesa, and one of them is using a plugin that we have. We actually have a plugin that we've developed. It's not yet ready to market, and so I'm not going to mention it here exactly what the name is, but we have developed a plugin, an M-Pesa integration plugin that you get in and you use to with your M-Pesa API to be able to connect it. Now, with M-Pesa, you will need to have a business number, so a pay bill number, or a Lipa na M-Pesa number. But pay bill is the one that works best because you want to connect both the, actually that's the one that you should actually use. Our plugin uses the pay bill number because you want to connect an invoice number with the number itself. So you want to be able to connect like the account number and the pay bill number. So you want to have a pay bill number, set up a pay bill number. You'll then need to get in contact with Safaricom and tell them that you do want to connect it to our website. Now there are a number of awesome, you guys have subscribed. Asante sana. I'm seeing people saying done. Thank you. You will need to have a plugin that allows for integration within, and the plugin would give you a walkthrough through how to connect your the API settings that you're going to be given from Safaricom, how to connect them onto your own website, how to make them work within your own website. So integration like that with a plugin works like that. Now, if you don't want to use a plugin, you can use third-party vendors who also have WordPress plugins, and some of those are Pesapal. Pesapal have a WordPress plugin that you can be able to use. We have integrated a number of client sites with Pesapal, and it works pretty well. They have a good online payment platform, and the good thing about using Pesapal is that you're able to accept everything else, including swiping cards, be able to accept payments, I believe, through things like PayPal as well. So it integrates all of them together. So that's a good option to go for. Now, the others I have not used are iPay. iPay also have a way of being able to integrate. Yoves Munala, you're saying that I've forgotten me, you've forgotten me. No, I'm sorry. Yes, I could not mention everybody, and so thank you for being in here. However, I didn't see your comments as often, so that's part of the reason probably I didn't mention you, because I hadn't seen your comments very often. But I really do thank you for being here. Asante sana. So as I've said, the plugins will have a walkthrough on how exactly you set them up. So there are different plugins have different walkthroughs. However, there are things that even simple people who do not understand web design to a great degree can be able to set up for themselves. And so it will depend on a case-by-case basis for you. But I would advise that either you use our plugin. We're going to be announcing that soon. And so if you're not already signed up, you can go to deepafrica.com/webinar and you can do the registration. Just register there. If you register there, you're going to receive when we release the plugin, you'll be one of the first ones to receive it. So I've touched on M-Pesa integration. Again, there's no straight line onto it. Let me mention something about it though. Most Kenyans like having M-Pesa integrated, not having M-Pesa integration, they like being delivered to for them to then receive the products. I know that's a lot, that's true for many Kenyans, including me. And so that's something you probably want to be careful about, that if you're going to spend a lot of time in M-Pesa integration, does your business actually work that way? There are not very many businesses where M-Pesa integration works in Kenya, because most people want to have the physical product in their hands before they proceed to pay, and so that means that they're going to be paying on delivery. However, if you want to integrate, you have to be sure that this is something that your clients are actually going to be using, not just that it's not just something that you want to have on your site and it's not going to be very useful. Because again, you're handling cash here, and you're using the online systems to handle cash, and they would charge commissions and things like those. So you want to be careful with that. You don't want to set it up if you don't have it, if you're actually not going to use it. The other thing about it is, even for things like talk, like the live chat, don't put it up. I would actually advise you to just use WhatsApp if you're not going to be available to answer the chats right away. Like right now, I'm offline on wedding gowns. And so if somebody is trying to contact me, they're not going to be able to find me. They're not going to be able to find me active. And so that's a problem. So you want to make sure that the tools that you're going to implement, there are many different tools, but you don't want to use all of them, because not all of them may be useful for you. So be careful with that as well. Okay, I think that answers M-Pesa integration. Now, there was adding a business on Google. Sorry, I forgot about that. Now, the way you can be able to add your business on Google is Google My Business. Google My Business. You can be able to add your business on Google this way. You'll be able to add a location. So you're able to add like a business location that you manage, that you own. You're able to add it using this. Now, Google My Business is a really good tool. It's most likely that if your business has been running for a while, it's probably already mapped out somewhere. Now, let me mention something about Google My Business. It may be one of the tricks that I've found to work in Kenya, because one of the problems with verifying a Google My Business account is that they send a postcard to your business location, and you know that we use postal addresses, PO boxes, and so it will never actually come to that location, and they refuse to accept a PO box. So the way that I would actually normally go about it is, because before I go to Google My Business, I would go to Google Maps, maps.google.com, and when I go to Google Maps, I would add a piece of information. Let's say I'm in Thika right now, so let's focus on Thika. I can add a dummy location. So for instance, I don't want to add a dummy location because that may not be a good thing to do, but I would go, let's say, like find your business. So use a satellite map. Let's say you're located in Thika Arcade. So you'd go to Thika Arcade, use satellite to be able to find where the business is exactly. So I'm looking for Thika Arcade. There it is. So now that I've found Thika Arcade, I would click on it. Now when I click on it, it's actually going to say, give me that there's this option, there's something in there. Oh, so this is Kenya National Union of Teachers. That's not what I want to do. You want to add a new location. So let's get back to Thika Arcade again. This keeps on changing. Your contributions, add a place. I'm looking for add a place. See whether you can find it faster than I can. Okay. Seem not to be finding it. Okay, so a way that usually would work, let's say, just typing your business name. That also has worked for me in the past. When you type in your business name, now the thing I'm trying to do is, because I don't want to add a location directly, I want to add, that's not working for me. Oh yeah, add a missing location to Google Maps. Perfect. This is what I was looking for. So you want to add a location that is missing, and let's see whether there is an easier way of doing that. Add a business location to Google Maps. Let's see whether that's able to find. Captain Cargo, thank you. You're saying that I've enjoyed all 5 sessions, that and you are a patient tutor who is well versed with the subject matter. You gave us too many extras and side notes as well. I hope that wasn't a bad thing. So let's see whether I'm able to add a business location in a much easier way. Manage your business, add a missing place. Let's see whether that does it. Add a missing place, go to your Google Maps, search for an address, click yes. So the way to add a missing place, I'm actually going to post what is written on Google there, because that's a faster way than what I was trying to do. That's the way you add, search for a location, search for a location like the way I did, and then say add a place. And you're going to then add the name of that place and pin where that location is, and then say save. Now that won't be adding the location itself on your own shop, on your own like address. It won't be yours. It will be that you have made a contribution to Google. Now once you do that, you can then go and claim a business. Let's see whether there are businesses that are unclaimed. So Thika. Let's go to Thika. Let's just go through and find whether there are any businesses that are unclaimed. Let's see if Romy has claimed. Romy is a mechanic that I like. By the way, you guys, if you live near Thika and you're looking for a mechanic, use Romy. He's a really good mechanic. He's not paid me to say any of these things. He's just a really good mechanic, and so use him. He does a pretty good job. Let's see whether I can claim this as my shop. I think he has already claimed his. He's already claimed his. So let's see. Ubuete cereals. I don't know who these ones are. Yeah, so you can claim this business. So when you claim it as your business, it's going to take you to Google My Business. So once you have registered that business, wait for a few hours for Google to verify that that place has been added. Then before you claim it this way, because they're going to need to verify that it's you, you will need to add a phone number, your phone number, and it needs to be your own business, because they'll try to verify using your phone number. So use your phone number to verify it with this. To add it before you come to verify here, you add the phone number. And make sure that it's been added as the official phone number of that business. Then come to claim this business. When you claim it, it's going to try to verify using the phone number that you had set up, and it's going to work that way. It does not work 100% of the time, so just watch out for that, but that's one way of fixing that. I hope that answers the question for the one who had asked about how to claim the business. Now, once you have that, there's a lot that you can be able to do. You can have reviews. It's actually really useful. Just by the way, let me ask a favor of you guys. Since we have been around with you guys for this long, so you guys do me a favor. You go to Deep Africa. Just search for Deep Africa. Deep Africa. Just Deep Africa, without the .com. Go to Google. Find Google. Yours is going to be seen like this. Deep Africa. I want to show you how yours is going to look. Yours is going to look like this. I want you to come and click on Google reviews, and I'd like you to write a review. I'd like you to write a new review. Just write a review in there about the experience that you had. It would be really nice for us. Please do that for us. We'd really appreciate it. And don't just do the 5-star review. Just say something also on top of the 5-star review. Just write a paragraph or two about the experience that you've had and how good it was and what you've learned. That will be a useful thing to have. Now, let me mention something about Google My Business. Again, part of going away. There are a lot of things that you get a dashboard like this. Like you're seeing this dashboard here. You get a dashboard showing different things that you can be able to manage, add posts. There's a lot that you can be able to do with it. So I don't want to dwell so much there, but it's a pretty powerful tool. Okay, let's see whether there are any other questions. Amos, your colleague is saying that he's been forgotten. Brian Murunga. Let me mention him on air. Brian Murunga, thank you for being around, and please stop looking at Amos weirdly. Okay, I think we've answered most of the questions. I'm still open to receiving more. I am going to keep this open for as long as you guys have questions. So ask away, and I'm ready to answer them. I don't know whether there's anything I've missed, by the way. Tell me if there's anything I've missed. I'm just going through my chat to just make sure that there's nothing I've missed. So the question on maps is answered. Karibu sana Jeremiah, it's my pleasure to assist. I think I've answered most of the questions there. Are there any more? If there are any more, please ask. I'm more than happy to assist. This is something I enjoy doing. I enjoy teaching. I enjoy showing people things. I believe knowledge is gained more when it's shared than when it's kept to oneself. So that's that. Let me also mention that we do web design. Deep Africa does web design, and if it's something that you're interested in having, in us doing for you, please talk to us. We are more than happy to assist you. Just go to deepafrica.com and just start a live chat with us, and we will design a website for you. So if you're interested in starting a website, just talk to us, and we'd love to do that with you. Okay, so I think we can now end this webinar because I'm not seeing any more questions coming in. Asanteni sana, I appreciate you. Bior is asking, you're taking us back to day one, and that's okay. I'm more than happy to assist you there. You're saying, why do .orgs cost more than local ones? Now, .org is owned by, it's actually owned by a private entity that for some reason thinks that they want to like play around with prices. So the .org prices they fluctuate a lot. And that's because they are owned by a private entity that has been changing around and playing around with prices. And there's a time when .org domains were cost like the normal domains, but then they went up all of a sudden. And the reason why that happened is because they unilaterally thought they would make more money that way, and so they just upped the prices. So we don't have control over that. It's that company that is raising their prices, and it's their property, so that's fine. I would actually say that if you are in Kenya or probably in Uganda, there's .or, .ug, .or, .ke, which would cost as much as the normal .co.ke domain would cost. So you can use that instead, and that would probably work for you. Tony Sirengo is saying, I don't know whether I've answered your question well, Bior. By the Bior, I didn't mention your name. Thank you so much. I've been seeing your comments. You've been around, as you've mentioned, you went even back to day one. So thank you so much. Tony Sirengo is saying that you're looking forward to the next topic. Yes, we're looking forward to doing the next one. The next one is most likely going to be about blogging or SEO, one of the two. I think we'll decide on that, and we'll communicate soon about it. We are going to take advantage of the fact that most of us are home and take that time to learn a lot of things. Okay, so with that, I think I would want to say thank you, asanteni sana, merci beaucoup. How do you say thank you? I think Bior, you're from South Sudan. How do you say thank you in your mother tongue? The Ugandans, how do you say thank you? I want to say thank you in your language as well. So thank you so much. Newegamuno, asante sana, bienvenue, asanteni sana. We are really happy to have been with you. If you want to watch the other topics, they are on our they are on our website, deepafrica.com/webinar. You can find the other videos there as well, or if you won't find them there, you can find them on okay, actually George is our CEO, and he's saying he wants to award 20 t-shirts. I had already mentioned 2 people who I'm going to give t-shirts to. So let's see who else wants a t-shirt from Deep Africa. I think I'm going to pick people from Shukran. Shukran Yunchaleche. Shukran Yunchaleche. That's Bior. That's the way they say thank you in their mother tongue. Shukran Yunchaleche. So I'm going to pick people within the people within the live chat that have been really like interacting with us. So any one of the people who have mentioned in the thank you notes, I'm going to pick the people who, I had 2 people who had picked. George has asked me to give 20 t-shirts in total, so I have 18 t-shirts to go. So if you are if you are listening to this and you'd like a t-shirt from us, a Deep Africa t-shirt, I'd like you to contact us. Just go to our Facebook and give us a live, like a message, send us a message, an inbox message, facebook.com, send us an inbox message with your contact information and how you can get your t-shirt. We're going to pick the first 18 people. I'd already mentioned 2. So it's since I'm not able, I don't want you to give your public information here. So please go to our Facebook. That's Deep Africa World. Let me show you where our Facebook is. I'll actually give the link to our Facebook, Deep Africa World. So the first 18 people who give us, send us the information on their inbox, we are going to send a t-shirt too. I'll post the link there. That's facebook.com/Deep Africa World. This is it. You're going, if you come to this page, we are going to inbox us, send us a message. We're going to send us a message of exactly how we can receive your, you can send you your t-shirts. And again, the people who I am picking, please mention who your username is. Mention, because I'll remember who the names are. So I don't want to just pick random people. I'm not going to pick people who are not participating within this. So please mention, for instance, if you're Misati Realtors, as you talk to us on Facebook, make sure you mention that this is Misati Realtors, and give me a way of being able to verify that it's you, that it's you who was chatting with us, because we want to give people, the actual people who are with us. Again, if you are not really participating, and I probably had not mentioned your name and you're not an active participant in here, please, I request that don't try to pose as someone else. That's not going to be fair. And I am going to be verifying who those people are. I'm going to be able to find whether it's actually you. So just let's be nice. So the people who actually deserve this to get it. Asanteni sana. I am really glad that you guys were here with me, and I want to end it here. So asante sana for being around. Bior is the only one who sent me the way they say theirs in. I didn't get a Buganda way of saying good asante, so I'm just going to finish with Bior's thank you, which is shukran yunchaleche, and see you in the next webinar. Bye.